it's a very fun item to have early on.
The last few races I've seen or anything to go off of, we see a go mode hookshot maybe?
Oh, and it's off with a flute as the first item. That's impressive.
Flute, not always required, but hey, first item flute, they'll be zipping around Hyrule pretty quick.
And we got some magic from a tree pole. That's pretty cool. It's going to be useful early on if they find something to use that magic with.
Oh, you mean like that Kakariko Fire Rod?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and we find a sword in Sanctuary chest. That's hype, people. Is this even open mode?
We have seeds where sometimes you don't get a sword until an hour in. To see it a minute in, it makes things a bit comfortable for our runners today.
Indeed, this is going to make it the first part of the seed a lot easier. As the sword, as you can guess, it is a pretty reliable weapon.
Also makes getting through these bushes easier when you don't have to pick up every single one.
Ooh, that was a blue tunic up there on the ledge, which is not required, but it can play a difference on the long run.
And even the early run, if they have early Dark World, that's one of the 2 male upgrades they know they won't find, and once again, depending on how early, few hearts, green tunic, not so fun.
And we only have 50 rupees in the forest here, which is still alright. You still need a bunch of rupees early on to be able to afford whatever the bottle sellers selling and a few minigames here and there.
Well, even if they find no bombs, that 50 rupees still goes straight into the shop to buy those 10 bombs to do all the Kakariko stuff.
That's true. So early rupees are very, very welcome. Even though at the end of the run, they're probably the only thing you don't want to find. There we go. Ice is using those early rupees to go buy himself his bombs, not taking any chances.
Now we see Dude making his opening play from Link's house and going to the Uncle Drop.
Oh, xIceblue just found himself a bottle inside of Kakariko. This is going to save him at least one trip.
Yeah, not having to go back for Sick Kid, especially if Sick Kid has an important item.
Unfortunately, it's only a big 20. But, you know, since they already have the flute also, that's... They can do all of Kakariko all in one go.
Also means coming back isn't going to be a huge hassle either once they have Dark World access.
Yeah, as we see here on Dude's stream, he's pretty much doing the exact same route, and it's pretty normal to see these players doing exactly the same thing in the beginning, just because you never want to skip whatever's in either your house, sanctuary, or even in Kakariko Village, since there's so many items you can get early on. Especially since they have no requirements, most of them, and because they also got like an early flute, an early bottle, yeah, it's even more reasons to just go and raid whatever's in Kakariko Village.
Yeah, a lot of your Sphere Zero locations, as you said earlier, locations that don't require anything outside of bombs are there, and that's your starting progression. That's where you figure out where you're going from there.
Now, I've seen a bit of variation. Sometimes you can see players like start at a house and try to go downwards. Like they try to maybe go farm some bombs via the grove, the South Grove. I've seen that a few times. Or you can also just do the fake flippers trick to get into... Oh, not the fake flippers. I meant the Hoolihan trick to get a few more rupees early on. But we don't see them as much anymore.
My understanding is Hoolihan has fallen out of favor a bit because starting from version 26, we got an extra 300 rupee drop.
Oh yeah, that's true. And look at that hype we have so far. We got a Master Sword, Quick, and 2 full hearts. Wow, this is starting to be a very healthy seed.
And you see another heart on the race ledge, though I doubt he goes for that one.
Now you can start seeing already, having the flute this early is going to give him a lot of small time save here and there. Just flying around all of Hyrule instead of saving, quitting, or, you know, walking.
And now we see xIceblue making his way over to the race game.
In the meanwhile, it looks like Dude is going inside of Hyrule Castle. Definitely a good play early on when you find swords this easily, just as they did. Because normally in Castle, there's just a few chest locations you can check without the lamp. But if you have a good reliable weapon, such as a sword or a hammer or something like that, it makes the trip a lot easier.
Well, if you're comfortable with it and willing to make the gamble, even just going into Hyrule Castle as you check the Uncle Escape and using bombs to take out the guards, you can find some nice stuff down there.
Indeed. Especially if you find something that can stun enemies, such as a boomerang or a hookshot, it makes the whole trip a lot easier.
I see a mirror.
Yep, so do I. That's a very early mirror. It's going to be useful. A bit trolly as a location, as it could have been used to, you know, move the blocks inside.
Or to go back to the start of the Hyrule Castle, check the Dark Escape chest.
Indeed. Now, at least they won't have to look for it, so that's a thing. But yeah, we already see some route divergence here. xIceblue is going for the Moldorm Cave, while Dude obviously is going into Castle Basement.
I like the Moldorm play. Hyrule Castle has a total of 7 locations, but one's a map and one's a key, so that's 5 items. xIceblue going for the same amount of items with a lot less time in between.
Indeed. He just found the Book of Majora, though, and a Redarang. Now, the Boomerang is nice to have early on, just to, you know, it might have something useful as a stun pack on enemies, and it's the first ranged weapon they have, too, so useful to just get enemies or switches out of the way.
And especially like knowing the stun prizes early, just so you can plan around what kind of consumables you're going to have access to.
Now, this is an interesting play that xIceblue is making here, going for desert already, just having found the book. We did not get to see what was inside of Ice Cave, though, the Ice Rod Cave. Probably waiting for when he either finds the flippers or just flute to their back later on.
Yeah, normally, if you're routing that way, you want at least a Moon Pearl so you can check the Waterfall Cave along with Zora when you come out of there.
Ah, yes, indeed. It's a good routing decision, I think. Either way, just because they have a flute so early on, they can just warp to 8 and see what's there very quickly if they want later on, without losing that much time.
So xIceplue's going through desert right now. I don't think we've seen a map check.
Oh, and I saw a orange.
I saw bacon.
Yeah, that's new. It's probably what they picked up inside of the cave, the desert cave.
If that's the case, that's a location that's usually passed over. So xIceblue with an early sword advantage.
Indeed. 10 minutes in and we have a bacon sword already. This is pretty cool. And as Ozipone in chat is saying, boots are not necessary for this desert palace.
But the bug catching nets on the torch, you gotta get that.
I usually agree with you, but seeing how fast this seed has been going, we might not even see the boots, dare I say.
So there was a map check. I saw desert was a crystal.
I see. And I can also see that there's 2 pendants in Light World. Eastern being vanilla, green pendant, and Tower of Hera having either blue or the red.
That place close enough to vanilla.
We've seen Dude here making a small sequence break, going up Death Mountain and rescuing the old man without the lamp. Which is fine. You get to see a few dark rooms here and there, and at this point in the tournament, I think most people are comfortable with a few dark rooms around the game. Especially the one here on Death Mountain and the one in Eastern. The other ones really depends on the runner.
So, dude found $300 inside of Spectral Rock. Looks like he's opting not to go for it.
This is kind of interesting, just seeing as he has no cash already, and we haven't checked anything that requires any of the rupees. So I'm not sure, even if there's a lot of 300 hanging around, you might want to hold on to that.
That's Moon Pearl.
The Moon Pearl on Ether Tablet. Wow! This game is just forcing swords upon you and just gives you the book and goes, go wild, man. Explore. The world is yours. And now the second world is also yours. The dark one.
It's kind of theirs. They still need access to Dark World outside of Death Mountain.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, it would require still the hammer and the not the mitts, the power gloves. I was looking for that thing. Just to enter the Dark World from probably any other location.
Speaking of power gloves,
Commentator's boon, at it again.
of course, as we said before, they still need to find the hammer or another glove upgrade.
Indeed. At least with the power gloves, it opens up a lot of the light world too. So it's going to be interesting what's going to be inside of Tower Hera here.
I believe the two items are on Troll Dorm and in the basement now.
Unfortunate, but it tends to happen a lot. I mean, basement is, I think, required in most of the seeds I've seen. And since these guys don't have a fire source yet, they won't be able to check it unless Moldorm actually holds on to one.
Oh, that's right, they don't have a fire source yet.
Now, dude is fighting Moldorm with only a Master Sword, which is funny considering that in the vanilla game you just fight it with a Fighter Sword, which takes even longer. It's 3 spins and down he goes. Rewards with only a full heart though.
xIceblue is going to go ahead and get those rupees, and it looks like dude's making the same play right now.
Yeah, I was wondering when he was going for those, because as we said, you need about, wow, what is it? I think around 800 rupees just to check all the locations that require rupees.
That sounds about right.
So
my guess is he was hoping to find a hook shot up in Tower of Hera and then jump down again and go across.
yeah, I can see that too. And to be fair, he doesn't have to get out of the cave like xIceblue is doing and get up top again. So I think he still did that in a very good way. Now, I know you saw a mushroom there, but that wasn't an item. That was actually the character sprite. Don't worry, people. That's what happens when you have great spriters inside a community. You get really cool stuff that happens sometimes.
Yes, this version of the randomizer added quite a few more random, or not random, but quite a few more sprites for Link this time.
Indeed, like the sprite that we can see on Dude's screen. Now, Dude did not go inside of Agina's cave, also known as Desert Cave, to get his Bacon Sword. So for now, he'll need to endure his Master Sword just a bit longer. He might actually go for it just after he finds out whatever's in Desert for now.
Now, since DuDudeDude has not gone to Sahasra'z yet, he does not have the Power Gloves to finish Desert.
Yeah, and since he doesn't have a Fire Source too, he wouldn't be able to finish it either in the last part of it, since you need to light up 4 torches at the end. That Torch Man, or the Fire Rod, they're more useful than you think. There's so many places that you need them just as switches, as keys to activate them. Now, XIceblue is coming up to Moldorm, and he's going to have a very easy fight. I mean, with the Tempered Sword, you only need to give out 3 hits. Not even Spin's attack, only 3 regular hits.
And Spin cuts that down to 2 hits.
And there we go, 2 hits, that was easy. Dude gets his tempered, so now they're on equal footing about what equipment they have at the moment, except for the Power Glove, which I believe Dude will find soon enough.
So right now, between our runners, they've cut down possible locations by quite a bit.
Yeah, at this point, I kind of expect for them to go inside of the later part of Escape, just for those 3 chests, and maybe attempt for that middle chest in the dark.
They've got the Sword Sparkle and the Red Boomerang Sparkles to guide them, so it won't be as bad as it could be. Still a bit rough since that chest is kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Of course, progression will never send you inside of dark rooms, so those are not obligatory to go through. But these guys can just sequence break a bit and do them early, just to get them out of the way, in case they have something useful for later on.
Now, XIceblue went into the basement of Hera, cleared the tile room, and then realized, oh, I don't have a fire source.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's one of those things that it's easy to lose track of. And there we go, we have Power Gloves on Dude. Now, I think at this point they might go exactly the same way. Or not. Looks like XIceblue is going for Eastern in a quick map check.
Dude's probably going to be checking Escape right now.
Yeah, seeing how he's routing this, that's probably where he's going. So we know that at least one of those 2 locations has something useful in it, because we're lacking a lot in the location department right now.
Actually, it's possible neither one of them has anything. Because they have a sword and a moon pearl. They could go up Agonim's tower.
That's true, but dude just found some flippers. Now, flippers and power glove indicate me that Zora has something.
Zora, Hobo, or the waterfall cave.
Indeed, one of those locations has something. Just because, you know, the seeds tend to breadcrumb a bit. And when you fall around like that, you get up what you need. Now, it looks like dude is attempting to go into Holy Hand room, and he gets it. So, this is what happens when you fall down a hole, and you don't exactly go to the right location because you don't fall down exactly where you're supposed to fall down. It's, yeah, it's a bit complicated how it works, but you end up in that room and you pick up, I think, is 230 rupees. Very useful early on when you want to check Zora and you don't have the required rupees, as he did.
Yeah, and chat pointing out, torch is needed for Agonim's tower, so we do need to find at least a lamp for that to be on the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not technically required because there's no switches blocking them, but in reality the dark rooms in there are very, very messy to go through without the torch, so no, never. You're never gonna see somebody going through that just to kick Agonim's butt.
Yeah, especially with dark rooms with no guardrails in there.
Oh yeah, these dark rooms are a lot of pain to go through without a lamp, so you never see a player doing that. Because if Aghanim is truly required, you'll get your lamp fairly early on.
Now, oh, dude, getting the Titan's mitts.
Oh, well, there we go. Aghanim just got bopped off the mat, as he will not be required to go into the Dark World.
Yeah, even for the eastern half, where Pod is, you can jump into the water and make your way over there.
And now it looks like xIceblue did not find anything useful inside of Eastern, unfortunately for him. And since he doesn't have the bow, he can't really complete it right now.
And Scam Artist Zora is at it again.
Indeed. Now, xIceblue is only missing a single rupee and gets it from mowing some grass. And she's gonna go and get his mitts inside of the waterfall cave and get scammed by Zora right after. And at this point, like we said, Titan's mitts, it points out to go into a dark world just behind Kakariko and start exploring a bit what's there. Maybe a quick map check, see how they route their dungeons from there.
There's only one pendant in Dark World, and it's Turtle Rock.
Indeed, and Skullwoods and Mire are your red crystals this time. Now, Pendant Turtle Rock, what do you think about that?
I think that's going to be our wild card for this race.
Yeah, I agree with you. Pendant Turtle Rock seems to be that dungeon that whenever it's a pendant, these guys don't really know, oh, is it going to be required anyway? Just because, not even talking about pedestal here. I mean, Turtle Rock has 5 items in it, 6 if you count Mimic Cave. That's a lot of stuff. but it does have a lot of requirements. A medallion, Cane of Samaria, both canes to be able to complete it. So yeah, if it is required, we're going to see a fairly long seed just because of that. Now I believe xIceblue just got scammed by Zora. His turn, yeah, you see his money go down. In the meanwhile, it looks like Dude is going inside of Skullwoods, trying to get this awful bomb jump. Just trying to get to that chest. Looks like he's just opting to do it maybe the normal way. Gets a bit of his money back.
He should have all the money he needs to finish the game now, with the exception of if he wants to buy some more, buy some medicine.
Yeah, just because most minigames that are left don't cost that much. Zora is one of those big items big rupee requirement in the game. All the other ones are just a few rupees here and there. So it's gonna be only a small... Oh! He just got caught in a really weird way.
Yeah, if you're moving the statue, you are not moving fast enough to get out of the way of that hand.
I always thought that you could. Huh. The more you know.
Yeah, you miss it by like 1 pixel.
Ah, that's awful. It looks like Dude isn't going to be able to go much further in Skullwoods, since none of them have the fire rod to be able to go in the later part of it. And we did not see, I think, what was in the big chest. We're about to see on Dude's stream, whatever's there.
Hey, I had problems with the bomb jump aside. Nah, I'm just going to go the normal way.
And it's only a key. Wow, Skullwood's disappointing today. It's not something you see very often.
Then again, did we see any items out Skullwoods yet?
We did see a 300 rupee, but I did not see if there was another item from that.
I'm pretty sure that 300 is the only thing that we saw. So there's still one more item in that back half.
Still, it's not a problem right now because they have plenty of locations they can check inside of the Dark World here. Now, Dude is going to start looking around around Thieves Town, whatever is crawling in these houses, and possibly even going inside of Thieves Town itself. I mean, it's one of those dungeons you really never skip because it has a bunch of items in it, low requirements to complete, might as well.
Right now, the only catch with Thieves Town is without a hammer, you cannot check the big chest.
Yeah, that's true. It's one of those things where you sometimes have to double dip dungeons like that just because the item you're looking for might be there. And if you don't go in early, well, you might miss out on other items. And so yeah, it's the gambling thing from Randomizer.
The great thing about going through Village of Outcasts with the mirror, they can do the quick toad turn in. They can deliver Gary's lunchbox. A lot of things that normally you have to spend saves and quits to get through.
Indeed, with the mirror, the flute, and Titan's mitts, oh yeah, the world is open to them right now. They can go everywhere very fast. And we see that xIceblue is going inside Thieves Town fairly early with only half a heart left. Just hope he doesn't get sniped. In the meanwhile, Dude will be looking at the overworld a bit more, just to get these few locations out of the way. probably is gonna save the frog and check. Yeah, save the frog and probably go inside the dungeon right after.
With the flute, he might put it off. Like, he might flew around the world, go to a few different Dark World locations, and put Thieves Town off, hoping to find that hammer.
Now, not a lot of luck so far in xIceblue, as the early items here, he got, of course, the big key that's always required, and a small key, and nothing much. Ooh, he does get sniped by one of those red guys. Unfortunate, but he wasn't very far in the dungeon at least.
And DuDudeDude finding out the dwarves are not swordsmiths today, they are shieldsmiths.
So shield is kind of nice, but not ultimately a lot useful. Just because these guys racing, they're good. They don't need the shield. They don't need that. It's not really required to as a progression item. Through the game might be useful for the later part of Turtle Rock, but you know, they have a lot of ways to go through that anyway.
So, dude, probably going to end up checking Bombo's tablet on this tour. We'll see if it pays out the same way either tablet did.
Yeah, he might as well, and he might even check the Hype Cave right after, since it's right there, and more importantly, we might see an early swamp.
I think you need hammer pretty early in Swamp, though. I think you can only check one chest in Swamp before you get blocked.
Yep, you are right. Only one chest you can see inside a swamp. But that chest can have hammer in it, which is very unfortunate, and it did happen before. In the meanwhile, xIceblue is still going through Thieves Town, and dude gets a B-Tor.
Hey, I've seen B strats on a few bosses like Mockula. Oh, and dude taking a ball to one of the squiggly. What are those?
Yeah, I think you were going with the right word. The squiggly thingy. That's how I call him. Either way, it's not a very good death per se, just because dying on the overworld usually sets you back to your start selection screen, where you decide where you want to spawn. It's pretty bad. You usually just want to die in dungeon if you have a choice, but at least he just went and just gone somewhere else entirely.
Checking Mire.
At least he'll get some good information out of this. Like, what's the Mire medallion? It's his bombos, I think.
You can also go ahead and do the back half of Desert while he's over here.
Not now. Ooh, xIceblue just destroyed Blind. That was very good on him, because he was low on hearts, so he dodged a lot of fireballs there. Good job.
Great fight, but reward, not so great. Just a quiver upgrade. Yeah,
it didn't pay off going to Thieves Town this time. that usually doesn't happen a lot though, just because Thieves Town doesn't have a lot of requirements. As we said earlier, you just need to have access to Dark World, and you can access almost every chest inside except the big chest, which you need the hammer. So it usually holds some kind of progression item inside of it, but not today it seems.
At least it was a crystal, so it definitely required to go in there and kill blind.
Oh, definitely. I agree with you. So that's not lost on him. It looks like we just have a position switch, as xIceblue going to start looking all the locations that Dude already did, and Dude's going to complete Mire without the big chest, of course.
Thieves Town?
Oh yeah, sorry. Just got mixed up right here. I was still thinking of that Bombos on Mire.
Would it be interesting if Bombos ended up in Hype Cave?
Ooh, indeed, that would be interesting. Now, of course, we haven't seen what's in Hype Cave yet, and there's still a few locations here and there they can check, such as what's on the pyramid, what's at Catfish, and a couple of locations inside of Palace of Darkness they could check, unless they are locked by that first chest in there. But let's not say that. Let's say there's something in Pod. Yeah. Now, I also don't think these guys have been up in the northern part of Dark Hyrule, so we did not see what was on Bumper Cave. Of course, neither of these guys have found the magic cape, but it's always one of those things you want to check fairly early on, just because it's out of the way and there's not a lot of items in that part.
Well, in this case, it's not that out of the way, because right now the northern Hyrule route is... Oh wait, that's not your only way into Pod. You can also go south past Swamp and jump in the water there. Okay.
Yeah, there's always that place you can go to. Now, other than that, what haven't we seen? You know, I think another place that could make a diff... No, wait, they can't go there. Maybe... I don't know. Where could this progression item be? It has to be somewhere around the Overworld or in Hype Cave.
Well, you mentioned before, there could be something in that first chest and swamp.
And we have silvers from that first location in Hype Cave. Not bad.
And there's a hook shot. That is huge to find. That opens up a lot of Death Mountain, and that opens up... Okay, it doesn't open up Swamp House, but it opens up a lot of Death Mountain.
Indeed. Now, of course, without the hammer, that hookshot is not very useful for Swamp right now, but as soon as they do find a hammer, Swamp will be completely open. So it's only a matter of time before we see it.
And if Dude didn't have that death in the Overworld, he would have had that, so very unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it's also one of those locations which you never ever miss. So at least for that, he's going to go and check it a bit later on. Might take a bit more time, but as we know already as the commentators, there's not a lot of more locations he can check apart from that cave right now, just because of how the whole layout is pointing out.
Considering what dungeons they have left, I wouldn't be surprised to see the lamp up here on East Death Mountain.
Yeah, I agree with you. At this point, it's getting a bit late for lamp to appear, or something in the sorts, such as either bombos, the fire rod, or anything really that it's going to give them access to a few more locations. I think bombos in here would be probably the most interesting item, just because it would open up a few locations, such as Ice Palace, or even Mire, as we've seen earlier, that it's locked there. Of course, they won't be able to complete Mire without the King of Mire, but it still opens it.
I've seen a lot of vanilla dungeon chains recently, so it could happen again.
Indeed. Now it looks like xIceblue did not find much on Eastern Death Mountain so far. There's more locations he can check around, such as Spiral Cave, whatever's on the island. He can also open up Turtle Rock. Well, open up the Dark World portal for Turtle Rock. Not exactly sure what's the medallion. We'll see soon enough.
He has no hammer to open that portal.
Oh, right. Hammer, you know, that one item that blocks everything. See, that's the reason I'm not in the tournament anymore. I keep forgetting about the hammer. At least these guys are very close to one another when you see what items they have. They've been to a bit different routes, but a bit of different problems encountered. xIceblue died inside of Thieves Town, while Dude died on the Overworld, so because of that, they look very close.
Indeed, and so far, Light World Death Mountain not paying out.
Yeah, at least they have a lot of items to explore the Dark World Death Mountain right away.
xIceblue missed the hookshot glitch. Looks like they're going out and retrying the cave.
Yeah, that glitch is a bit finicky. You just have to time it really closely. It looks like this time he's having none of them, just disappearing those blocks with the mirror.
Oh, I think Dude forgot he doesn't have the hammer.
Well, at least I don't feel like I'm the only one.
Hey, he took a couple things on the menu, like, where is it? Oh no.
Yeah, in Randomizer, you tend to find the hammer still a bit early on because it locks up so much of the seed that, by logic, it can't be that far.
There's a hammer.
There we go. Hammer found. Now we'll see soon enough what's on Turtle Rock, and it's Quake.
Nice to know they can get in there. They just need another 4 items.
Yeah, you still need the cane, the lamp, the fire rod, the ice rod to beat the boss. Yeah, that's a lot of items just to complete one dungeon, so it's not looking very good so far to see an early play on Turtle Rock.
If they're just looking for items, I wouldn't be surprised if they go in without the ice rod. Just you can still check a lot of Turtle Rock without killing Trinex.
I agree with you, because if you're lucky, Trinex can have no items on him. Now, of course, none of the runners actually saw the pedestal yet, so we still don't know if completing Turtle Rock will be required or not. But like you said, there's what, 6 treasures in there, counting Mimic Cave, so that's not exactly a bad play, just not a good one right now.
Now, you had mentioned pedestal, and it looks unlikely right now, just because of the pendants required.
Indeed, because we know it can't be the bow, it can't be the Palace and Mire, it can't be the ice rod, it can't be the fire rod, it can't be the lamp, so there's very little item it could be there. Except, you know, maybe the boots.
Yeah, and boots aren't required per se.
Well, don't say that, don't say that, you know what could happen.
At that point, would you rather see Bombos on there?
Last thing we want to see here is a Ganon's Tower boots locked. Just saying.
Siege revenge for giving first item loot. You gotta go to the pedestal for them boots.
Yeah, seems fair. I mean, you get to go fast by warping around with the duck, but if you want to dash around, well, tough luck. You need to get good.
So we have a difference in opinion on dungeons right now. xIceblue is going through Pod, and Dude is going through Swamp.
Yeah, and so far I think... Oh, Dude just found Bombos, so I think he picked the right one.
Even if that's the only thing he finds, that's progression to another dungeon.
Exactly. Meanwhile, xIceblue is going to have to go through a few dark rooms here, which means he's technically sequence breaking to go through those, even if it's not that really hard. At least this one. But the next one with the maze is really awful to go through.
Once you get the maze down, it's not as terrible once you have it memorized, but that turtle room, I hate the turtle room without a lamp.
Indeed. You never know where they're going to flip, if they're flipped, if they're okay. And at least if you have another fire source like the fire rod, you can light up the torches on the next room so you have some light. But it's still, they're just awful rooms, and that's why we never see a lampless pod. At least a complete lampless pod.
Now, if you have the bow, you can hit the turtle with the bow so you can track where they're moving. But that bow is still missing.
Indeed. And just because the bow is also missing, we're most likely not seeing the end of this dungeon. And by most likely, I mean impossibly so, just because there's red enemies in the ways, so you can't really progress in the back end of it. Now, it looks like Dude just avoided the worst thing in the world, which is flooding a key. So congrats on him on not making that really awful mistake that every runner did at least once. I'm going on it and say everybody did it at least once. If you didn't, it's going to happen. And it's not fun, but you only do it once.
Please don't jinx me. I've seen enough races and heard enough about that to. I don't want to do that.
Now, so far, there is not a lot more inside of Swamp. At least he can complete it, so we might see something in the latter part of it. But so far, it looks like Bombos is the item to progress the seed. Of course, Dude now just contradicts me and gives out a shovel and a big key, which gives access to another chest in the same way. But, you know, shovel is one of those fetch quest items that if you don't go and take the time to look at it, it really opens up not much. It's one other location, but it's a trolley one, I'll give you that.
Now, we mentioned Bombos not being much. Well, without the Fire Rod, Bombos still opens up Ice Palace. So we could see a Bombos required Ice Palace.
Indeed, it's something that's quite common nowadays to just open up the first part and, well, any room really with those freezers in it, just to get past them. Because you can kill them with the Fire Rod or Bombos, either one. Now, Dude just found himself a blue mail, which will be a great help in these dungeons in Dark World. They start getting some damage up really fast.
And we know these runners will not be getting red mailed because it's on the Lumberjack ledge, and Aghanim is not required.
Indeed. It almost was, but at least they got to skip it, and I believe that was a butter sword.
I can't believe it's not a sword.
Wait.
Okay, that sounded better in my head.
Confusion was spread, and it did its job. Now, that sword is, of course, the strongest in the game, does a lot of damage, and more importantly, it gives you access to a very cool strat on this boss. Let's see if Dude knows it, or at least can do it.
Is he just poking them to death?
Yep, that's the strat. When you have the golden sword, you can actually just single-handedly poke each one of those fluff balls to kill them in one hit. And that saves a lot of time when you get this strat right. You've seen a couple of deaths here from it, and it's so cool and so fast to see. Yeah, that's right. If you use the tempered plus boots, you can hook dash into them, but it's very hard timing to do so. So we don't usually see it just with tempered. It is possible though.
Now it's what they've done. It looks like the available dungeon plays are either go into ice and clear it, or go into mire and hope you find the cane.
Yeah, it looks like Dude is going for the safer approach and go into ice. I would probably do the same thing, even if I don't really like ice. It just seems like a better gambit.
If you got a dungeon you can clear and a dungeon you can't, go into the one you can clear.
Especially when that dungeon is a crystal dungeon. Now, of course, not having the cane, if he doesn't find a cane in ice, he will have to do the bomb jump to be able to complete it. Now at this point, oh boy, I'm gonna go out of my way and say Bo is in this dungeon. Yeah, let's go with that. That's a cool prediction.
I think it's got that Mire Bow feeling to it.
Yeah, that could be another place, but I'm feeling it. Bo in ice, just to make it easy progression.
South was giving Dude a little bit of trouble. Getting through it though.
Oh, this seed so far has been very early good swords, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and very early flute. So these guys have been fluting around all over the place. But apart from that, we've got a lot of things missing. No fire source anywhere, and Hammer was a trolley location inside of Hookshot Cave. Apart from that, it's pretty much a nice seed. Pretty healthy.
It seems like most of the branching on it, it's either been one of two. Like either you go to one dungeon or the other dungeon, but you still need both of them to get to your next choice.
Yeah, like Thieves Town was one of those choices they could make early on, but had exactly nothing inside of it. But since it was still a crystal dungeon, they still completed it. Well, mostly completed it. There's still that big chest, we're not sure what's in it.
Oh! We could still have our progression in there.
Indeed, it's one of those places where you hope there's nothing in it. Now, I did not count the treasures inside of Thieves Town, so I'm not sure if there's still an item left.
Oh, good point.
Now, so far, Ice Palace has been pretty tame, but there's a lot of chests coming up in the next minute, so here we go. Come on, Bo, pop up already.
It looks like xIceblue is going to end up making the same choice.
Big key, okay. Still need that, so it's fine.
I don't need it to check a location.
Oh man, this is tense right now. There's not a lot, so we still have to
the big chest and the boss. That's about it. If Cold Stare doesn't have anything and this chest doesn't have anything, we're looking more like your prediction is better. Having Mire have the Vanilla Cane or something like that.
Well, dude's dropping down to Cold Stare. We'll soon see if Ice Palace comes up dry.
Of course, there's still that one chest that's just in the middle of nowhere in this dungeon, which Dude is going for, because at this point he's missing far too many items to start skipping some locations.
Now, once they find Fire Rod, wherever that is, do you think maybe we'll see a pedestal check when they go up to finish up Skull Woods?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you really want to just make sure there's nothing of value on that pedestal, especially when, well, exactly at that point. Speaking of rods, we do find the ice one, which is not very useful, but as we're saying, if pedestal ends up being required, such as having the boots on them, well, that ice rod will make a difference.
Ice Rod's something you do not want to see right now, though, since its only use is for Trinex and Turtle Rock is appended.
Indeed, it's one of those items you just curse when you find it in the pendant Turtle Rock. It's really an awful item. Only one use in the game. I mean, there's worse items than that. Some items has literally no use, really. Here we go. Let's hope Cold Stare has something a bit more useful. How about the Fire Rod? Or, you know, the other item I wanted to see in the first place, the bow.
But, oh, wow. Dude just bodied Cold Stare. He didn't even get out of the corner.
Yeah, that's what happens when you when you get some good hits in like that. You see what happens when you get Cold Stare stuck in the corner? Now, there was only Ice Rod inside of Ice Palace, which is kind of poetic, but we're not looking for poems here. We're looking for randomizer items. So, yeah. This is... oh, looking for a shovel location. That's probably a good bet right now, just in case that place ends up having something important. Because, as we know, his next trip is most likely going to be in either more overworld location or Mire.
One thing to note, with Cold Stare giving out... that's Kane!
Well, that could have been picked up a bit earlier, but you know, at least it's better late than never.
Now, for Dude's sake, maybe at least he can find a fire source so he can mirror back and complete Desert Palace while he's here.
Oh, I really hope he finds the lamp in here, because if he doesn't, that later part of Mire is going to be very hard to go through. It's one of those dark rooms you don't want to go through without the lamp.
You know where else Lamp could be?
Please enlighten me.
First chest in Turtle Rock.
Ugh. You're right. Ugh. Can't believe that's a disgusting location for it. You know what? That first chest in Turtle Rock is like the bane of my existence. Every time somebody mentions it having maybe something in it other than like a key, I just... ugh.
Turtle Rock is one of those locations right now because they have the hammer to get in, they have the cane to get past the first bridge and get that chest. Don't have Fire Rod to get past that though.
Yeah, so at least we know that it can't be in the later part of it. But yeah, as we've seen, it's most likely to be Mire. Let's hope.
Rosario found a heart container out of Mire, so that's one of the 2 items down.
Yeah, that's right. Mire doesn't have a lot of items, considering the number of chests there's in it.
So many keys.
Yeah, that's what prevents you from being stuck. There's a million keys all over the place. Oh, he just realizes, nope, can't go any further down there.
Oh, that's right, he's still locked by a fire source on a few chests in there.
And there goes a big 20. That's not gonna help.
So, we got the mirror equipped. We might be just checking another couple of chests and then peacing out of there.
Yeah, possibly wanting to just pick up the big key and just get out right after.
Oh, there's the big key. And xIceblue is done with Ice Palace. Let's see where his next play is. Probably... Oh, not Mire.
So if Mire is not the play, then... I can see maybe Lamp being behind the graveyard in the light world. That's a bad place it could be in.
That's right, we still haven't seen Northern Dark World. We haven't seen Bumper Cave either.
Yeah, exactly. Stocking up on potions, that's a great idea. He might be able to... Oh, he might even check Spike Cave with that blue potion.
Yeah, technically he could have beaten Mire, but that set of dark rooms down there is not fun. There's too many enemies you can't see in there.
Yeah, it's not a fun set of rooms to go through, and of course, as we said earlier, you're never required to go inside of dark rooms. So if you're not comfortable exactly to go there, and you don't want to just bang your head literally against every railing, just get out of the dungeon and check more locations. They still have a few places they can check. And we see now Dude is going for Pyramid and probably Catfish right after.
Yeah, going through his dark room, maybe you could eventually figure your way out of there, but you gotta figure how much time or... Oh, that is a fire rod.
Alright, now in business. This does help a lot. Now, of course, that won't help to see in the dark for that place, but it's going to open up Skull Woods. And we all know Skull Woods just at least has another item, I believe. Or not. I don't remember at this point. But one thing's for sure now is Turtle Rock is looking very tasty as a location.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, well, I was pretty sure Swamp has one more item. But as you said, Turtle Rock. You can clear Turtle Rock now.
Of course, you're still missing the lamp, which is technically required. There's a few dark rooms inside of Turtle Rock, but they're still doable without it. I've seen it. Catfish offering nothing as usual. we're starting to see a bit of rage slashes here from Dude. Probably just looking to himself and just going, where am I supposed to go? And I can't really blame him at this point. He really wants either the lamp, the boots, or something really to just point him in the right direction, because this fire rod's gonna help him clear what's left of Skull Woods, but other than that, right now, it's not opening much. So we're going to see a turtle rod whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and speaking of boots, this may still, even though they can, even though they're a bow from Go mode to complete all the dungeons, it still might not be a true Go mode, because a big key on the torch in Ganon's tower means those boots are still required, maybe.
Indeed, it's one of those items that it stresses you out the longer you don't find them. The boots are really the trolliest item in the game, which you can technically maybe be in Go mode and enter Ganon's tower and think, oh yeah, I have this, and just find out the big keys on the torch, and you need to explore more of either Ganon's tower or the overworld to find where those are, because without those, you're not going anywhere else.
And those boots or a fetch quest leading to them are the only things that can make this pedestal seed right now.
Pretty much. At least we know the bow is not on the pedestal, so that's a bit of relief.
Thank goodness for Pendant Eastern.
There we go, Marshalla down. And there's the second item. Unfortunately, it's only an arrow upgrade.
A very clean fight.
Yeah, still 3 hearts, and you know, you can't do anything about the spikes. You always do 1 heart. It doesn't change with the mail you have. And now we see Dude checking for that pedestal. It's on. No, he's not! He's not checking the pedestal. He denies the existence of whatever's on it.
In a way, I can't blame him, because he probably knows that bow is his Go mode item, and he knows bow can't be on there.
Oh, I agree with him, but man, oh, he's going for desert. That's now okay. I can see why he's going for desert. Not sure if there's an item left in desert though. Pretty sure there's not.
I think there is.
Because I know the bug net was on the torch, but what was on the other items? Either way, it's still good to get this out of the way. At least, you know, it's a crystal dungeon, so as we said earlier, might as well just get it out of the way while you think of more locations you haven't done yet. That's a trick I often use myself in these randomizers. If you know you can do something and you don't remember the other places you need to do, just do it while you think of it.
Yeah, just one thing, always keep moving forward. Even if you're not sure, move forward to something you know you gotta do, even if it's not quite efficient.
Yep, it's better than scratching your head on a pause screen.
That gold sword, that butter sword, taking out each Lammo in only 2 shots. So quick fight.
And there you have it. You were right, there was still an item left. But again, it's another useless item.
xIceblue is about to go into his Mothula fight. We'll see where he goes from there. We're running out of locations again.
Man, this seed started off so nice, and now it's just showing its teeth going, haha!
Dude might be going for the dark room play. I guess he's trying to avoid Turtle Rock like the plague.
I can't understand why. I mean, having to go inside Turtle Rock just to get out of there, and yeah, it's no fun. But at this point, I would probably go in Turtle Rock myself, just because I'm not comfortable with the dark rooms inside of Mire. But if Dude is, well, good on him, because that's going to give him a small advantage if his opponent can't.
With the extra potions, it'll help Dude navigate through those dark rooms and restock if he gets low.
We got troll there.
That timing.
That timing. Well, we'll know later on. Now, Dude is already in the dark room here, making his way through. That's one of the hard one with the block. But after that, he's going to be fairly easy.
Looks like Dude's having problems finding Switch. I thought he had it. He might have gotten knocked off of it.
Yeah, the Switch hitbox is very finicky in this room. Even with the lamp, I barely get it on the first try. Usually it takes me a few tries as you get stuck on the block, being blasted back on, off and on, and back off and on, just because those fireballs. Oh, it's frustrating.
And then sometimes you somehow push the switch down when you're on the side of it.
Yeah, that's the worst. I think xIceblue is going to check Spike Cave here, which I think is still technically a sequence break, since you do normally need either Cane of Brian or the Magic Cape to go through it.
And I don't think I saw a health potion there.
Ooh, I do hope so, because he's not going to have enough hearts.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah, so we have a sync, the game over screen here. Oh, that's a good point, Verse. Going for the basement of Tower of Hera is probably a good idea. And getting his mirror out, yeah, I believe that's what he's going for. Yeah, that's great thinking.
There's still also the graveyard ledge to check as well.
Indeed. It's one of those other places that the lamp could be in. Or the bow. Never know. Or the boots. Really, any item really could be there. But at this point, I really hope it's in the basement. Just because it's that location that's so far out. Oh, and we just gotta check, and I think it was a dungeon item, either a map or compass that's there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any speed, so it wasn't an important item down there.
So I think they're both making the same play now, going inside of Turtle Rock, hoping that whatever they need is in there. It's interesting to see how much they delayed it, though. Having found the Ice Rod fairly early inside of Ice Palace and the Fire Rod on Pyramid, it could have gotten inside of here like at least 15 minutes ago.
Now with that pedestal check from xIceblue earlier, if boots are on it, you think they'll go ahead and finish Turtle Rock?
Yeah, I think that Turtle Rock is one of those dungeons that finishing it doesn't take that much more time, because you usually tend to go all the way until at least Laser Bridge to check those 4 chests to see if you got every item necessary to complete other things.
Odds are we might find Lamp and Bow in here, because as we said, their location pool is getting pretty slim right now.
Indeed, at this point, it's looking very likely to have at least one of those two inside this dungeon right here.
I found one item, so we're down to Mimic Cave plus 4 inside Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's quite funny to see that both players are at the same time in the same dungeon. They haven't quite completed the same dungeon so far and checked the same locations, so I would say that Dude has a small advantage. But yeah, it could still turn around depending on the information that Blue got from the pedestal.
Now, Dude already used his potion in the Mire Dark Rooms, so health is a concern right now.
Oh yeah, without some powder, you don't have a reliable way to heal yourself in these late Dark World dungeons, so you're stuck with whatever you have.
And one more thing to note, Laser Bridge. Right now, I believe Laser Bridge is a sequence break because they don't have Mirror Shield or an invulnerability item.
You are quite right. So it would be pretty much a sequence break to go through. But one thing I usually see these runners do is just open up the back wall and there's your lamp. Sink lamp get. So at least you can go through the rest of Turtle Rock with no problem. Dark Room won't be such a problem to cross.
And this sink.
Yeah, that's a very good sink.
Oh, Blue got sniped by the pokey.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because those pokies, they have a chance to just bounce one of their parts around and hit you with it. It's, You can see right now that he's probably just going, do I go back in there or not? It looks like he's going to go elsewhere. Ooh, and the bow is in the big chest. That hurts.
That hurts xIceblue a lot.
Oh man, I'm not sure I would have went out
that early though outside of Turok. I mean, I know this is technically Go mode, but there's this small chance it's not. I'm torn.
I believe we call it Schrodinger's Go mode.
Yeah, Schrodinger's Go mode. There may be or maybe not in Go mode, depending on how Ganon's Tower wants to be today. Oh boy. So we have one chance in 22 that it is not Go mode. Unbelievable.
Well, chat's saying pedestal is cake. I wonder if they saw Ice's stream or if that's just a guess.
Yeah, it's fairly interesting to see how this is going so far. You see them both back inside the same dungeon, but one of them has the bow and the other doesn't, which doesn't change much, other than Vitreous will be much easier for Dude, because he also has silvers.
Now, even if pedestal was cake, I don't think we ever got a bumper ledge check.
Nope, we still haven't seen that.
Yeah, so it still could be boots on bumper ledge, and it still could be big key on torch. So if that's the case, xIceblue still got time to catch back up.
And there we go, we see xIceblue at Vitreous, with only one heart though. Oof.
Those eyeballs are brutal on damage.
And you see the difference from having the bow and not having it.
Yeah, those silver arrows make quick work of Vitreous and his little eyeballs. Now Dude's going up, making his way up the pod to get his last crystal.
Indeed, with the bow, it's going to be a very quick dip into pod, just to go straight to Helmasaur, and then we'll see him climb up back Death Mountain and just finishing Ganon's Tower.
So the third thing he needs, as long as he doesn't go looking for the boots. He can just go mode pod and should be fairly quick once he finds the big key.
Oh yeah, pod is one of those dungeons that you think it's very long, but it's long to route when you're not in go mode. When you are, you only need the big key and then you fly up straight to the end. Now, the location of the big key can be pretty much anywhere in the dungeon, so there's that.
Dude, heading down through the bottom here, still trying to find that big key in pod to get the Helmasaur chain.
And there you go. It was fairly well hidden away here behind the bow side of it.
He's got 2 keys going down, so he doesn't have to worry about finding a key. He can just go straight to Helmasaur and finish this up.
Now, of course, like we said a couple of times, this is most likely go mode, but there's still a tiny chance that the boots are required, and we still have no idea where they are. Of course, at this point, Duke pretty much has this in the bag, considering his opponent forfeited, but we could still see this seed going on for a while longer if the boots are that 1 of 22 chances required.
Yeah, unfortunately, xIceblue having some problems, so forfeit is dropped. But still expect Dude will probably be going through here as fast as he can. No rest for the quick.
And we get the blue rod from Helmasaur. What a prize.
And with that, Dude has his 7th crystal and is about to make his way to Ganon's tower. So it is time. Where do you think the big key is? Make your guess 1 to 22 or a specific location if you have an idea where it is.
Now, can I say 3?
That's very mean, but sure.
I mean, at this point, might as well make it a bit longer since we have only Dude to entertain us right here. So, come on, Dude. Let's just prove them that the key on the torch is a thing, and it always happens when you don't want it to happen.
You know what? Sure, torch. Let's go with the torch.
I mean, might as well go out with a bang, you know? Give out just one last thing. Because this seed was very nice very early on. And then just decided to, you know what? You don't get the bow. You don't get that. You don't get this. And slowly it started draining our sanity across all of us. So yeah, why not?
Now, we do know that the cape is on the pedestal. If the key is on the torch, there's still another 21 locations to find those boots. But if it's not Ganon's tower, where's it going to be?
Graveyard ledge.
They've had access to it for a while.
Yep, and it's out of the way, and it's that one place where you really don't want it to have something in it. It's just mean. And you see Dude going down exactly there to see if it's... Oh, and it's not there. So we got go mode, guys. We got go mode.
It was a key, just not the key.
It's just the right color to just make your heart rate go up slightly when you first enter the room.
It'd be funny if it still ends up being number 3. Okay, wasn't even the right color for that.
Looks like Dude went with what we call the Dark Magician route, which is going to check those 4 chests on the left first and then going to the right.
And that's where the powder's been hiding all this time.
Better late than never, I guess. I mean, it's not that useful considering that he did not pick up the bug net, since it was on the torch inside of Desert Palace. But we could see it used in a few later parts of Ganon's tower. So let's see. Getting trolled a bit here by those Gyptos.
There's a fire shield. Not a mirror shield, so it doesn't help a whole lot right now.
Still no sign of the big key. Are we playing Key Sanity now? Is the big key on the graveyard ledge?
We're on the pedestal. Oh, that's right. You can't just bonk across.
Nope, no boots. At this point, I'm kind of expecting the boots to be in like either one chest after or one chest before the big key, just for that lol. Just that stupid. Oh, you know it's gonna happen. Ooh, he's going for the bomb jump.
I know in one case I've accidentally was going for the bonk, got hit by the Helmosaur, and got damage boosted across here.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I mean, you don't expect it to work, but you're still grateful it did.
No, he killed Bob.
You know, Bob's still there.
Oh, Bob's over there. Wait.
One does not simply kill Bob.
And now for the true end boss. Ice without boots.
Oh god. Oh no. The big key is in the rando room, or the map room.
Or the tile room.
Oh, tile room. I forgot about that one. I think even Dude at this point is going like, man, is this seed over now? Yeah, you'll see him do the vanilla strats to go through this room with no bonking. Feels awkward when you haven't done it in so long.
I still don't go through there bonking, but you gotta know the right bonk spots to get through it.
That's true. As we're approaching the end of the seed now, I do have to plug in that if you did like this race and how these guys have been entertaining us, please do leave them a follow. They have been giving us awesome races since the beginning of this tournament way back when in September. So all of these racers are really extraordinary to giving us an awesome show. So I'm going to say that, yeah, follow these guys. They've been very good at this game, even when sometimes there's just small hiccups that can happen. You know, it's life. It can happen sometimes. And in the meanwhile, it looks like you were right, and tile room it is. Oh god.
At least he's got the powder to make it a clear room.
Yeah, just remove that really annoying anti-fairy from there. There's still this wallmaster that can be very trolly if you're not careful.
And while we're waiting for the tile room, I would like to say thank you to Raspberry Blue for our tracker, and Norastra, I think I pronounced that right, for restreaming for us and getting all of that sorted out with the sync at the start of it. Thanks to our unsung heroes bringing the race to us.
Indeed, Norastra just gave us pretty much a race we weren't expecting. It often happens with these races where we need a lot of people to make these happen, and it's thanks to a lot of people in the community just giving out their time and making sure these can happen. So thanks a lot, people. Very nice strat here with the mimics. I always like to see this. It looks so well coordinated.
it's been a while since I've seen a bootless seed, and it looks so different. Boots versus no boots.
Indeed. You see how sometimes you have tiny time saves you can put in all around the place by either pulling out the hook shot or doing something a bit different, using different items to just get enemies out of your way. It's very interesting just to have the variation once in a while. But as you can see, it does prolong the game by a bit.
And we're down to 1 land mode, no land mode.
Yeah, it's an easy land mode when you have the silver arrows here.
Or the gold sword.
Yeah, both go down very fast. You know, when you have those in-game items. Thing you often forget when you're playing Randomizer, but both the gold sword and the silver arrows you usually get at the end of the game, and I do believe even in 100% that you wait till you're done with Ganon's Tower to do it.
Huh, I didn't know you waited that late. I figured you want to try to get gold and silver as soon as you can.
I mean, you still need to do both the 5 and 6 dungeons to be able to get those items, so you can't really do them very early on. Oh, look, ether.
Good thing they didn't have to go looking for it.
We're down to the last 2 chests here. There's still one chance they find the boots inside that one last chest, and believe it or not, that chest would be very useful to have it in it, just to cross that really weird and long convenient belt room with all the bumpers and the mini helmosaurs. Yeah, you want the boots to go through that.
Unfortunately, I heard you like money, so here's more money.
Right color, wrong item. Oh wow, that was a very nice performance by Dude going through that room. With all the ice and the belts and the bumpers and spikes, and it's an awful room to go through.
Yeah, boots make it quite a bit easier.
Yeah, you usually just dash through it in the middle and you go straight up inside of the door frame, up the tower.
Ganon 2 is causing a few problems though.
Yeah, he's been giving out a few black patterns.
And a few blue balls too. And there's another one.
And there we go. Dude is downed with Ganon. All we have left is Ganon himself. Now, of course, it's probably going to be a very standard, easy fight. With the golden sword and silver arrows, even if he doesn't have half magic, I believe he could still do this even if he misses the torch glitch. So yeah, he's a he's pretty much almost done here. Give it or take a few minutes.
After what he's gone through with the seed, dude is probably going to lay it on Ganon hard.
Yeah, giving out those extra hits. Make sure he fills it.
About to hit on to phase 4.
Oh wow, that was a nice bat dodge.
And the torch glitch. And the Ganon hug.
Blue Ganon is still a bad Ganon.
Sometimes all Ganon wants is just a hug.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ganon, we're not interested. We're just busy, you know. But you see how fast it goes when you just go straight into Ganon again. Just give him a few hits. Golden Sword is very strong. It's one of those places in the game where it does make a bit of a difference.
You saw, dude is got his blue potion ready, so I don't think we're going to see another death.
He gets a silverless hit. That's cool.
We're one arrow away. Make that 0.
And there we go. Ganon down. And there he goes. DuDudeDude just finished the race with an official SRL time of 1 hour 56 minutes and 7 seconds. GG's.
GG, dude.
Hey there, dude.
Speaking of dude.
Hello. That wasn't the way I intended to win this, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate when you have an opponent that forfeits like that, but you know, sometimes you just have to put your priorities in the wrong, not the wrong place, the right places.
Yeah. I feel really bad for him now. He definitely deserved to win.
Yeah, you both guys, you both gave us a very awesome race. Most of the time on this, you were really neck and neck, I gotta say, because one guy would go to one place and the other would go to the second place, and then you would just switch around and do what the other guy already did. So it was quite entertaining to see, just seeing you both going the same places one after the other.
I'm happy about that at least. But yeah. Man, I feel so sorry for him. But what can I do?
Yeah, well, you'll just give him sometimes another non-official race sometimes just to clear the air. And who would have won it, really?
Yeah. Oh, hey, we had the cape on the pedestal.
Ah, yes, the cape was. We were wondering what it was because Ice did check it, but at the moment he checked the pedestal, his stream dropped just a tiny bit of frames, and we did not get to see it. We were wondering if it was the boots.
I just skipped checking the pedestal completely because I already figured out the only thing it could be that would be useful were the boots, and I was just gonna take the bet on it not being the boots.
Yeah, I noticed when you hit Ganon's tower, the first thing you did was check that torch.
No, I was just opting for the Dark Magician route for the hell of it, really.
Yeah, we were wondering if you were going to be that unlucky person that gets the 1 out of 22 chances that the big key is on the torch, and
yeah, I got the other worst possibility instead of it being in the tower room.
Yeah, it's a time-wasting room. Well, at least it wasn't a pedestal boots when you were up the access to Ganon's tower. That would have been really the worst thing ever. Still, I gotta say, it was a fairly cool seed to see early on. A lot of hearts, a lot of swords too, near the beginning.
It was actually a stark opposite to how the seed we were doing just before this one went in that regard. It's actually kind of sad that the one didn't get restreamed because I ended up climbing Ganon's tower twice because I missed out on the hook shot in the Overworld, and that was the first time I needed it, was after Model 2.
Ah, yes. It's that one place where if you can't really hover, you need that hookshot. And I'm not saying that not knowing hover is bad because most people don't know how to do it. So
yeah, plus we didn't even have the boots.
Oh, that would explain even more why.
Wait, so you just had back-to-back bootless seeds?
Yep.
Wow, that's
pretty unlucky. It's kind of a shame because I know a lot of neat tricks with boots, but at this point I don't get a chance to show them off.
Yeah, well, you still got to show how to do a seed without the boots. There's a few more things you can show, not tricks, but more like little time saves using a hook shot here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got to say, congratulations on moving forward. It's not a...
I think I might be the first person to make it to the third round at this point.
I think so. Let me check.
I don't think anyone else in the second round has had 2 of the races had through yet.
Yeah, that's true. I'm on the page, and you're the only one that just completed his second race. So, yeah, you made it through round 3.
That's unusual. It's farther than I was expecting to get, I can tell you that much.
Well, you gave us a really good show either way. And still, I've got to say to xIceblue too, you also gave us an amazing race tonight. So please, everybody, if you had a lot of fun tonight, give those racers a follow. That was a lot of fun to see.
I would definitely appreciate anybody showing the support to xIceblue at the time because, well, I'm sad it had to end this way.
So, did you want to add something about how this race went on your side?
Well, mostly what I learned is don't try that bloody dark room in Mire until you've had more practice at it, because, man, that was alright.
Yeah, Mire dark rooms, my opinion, second only to Agena's tower.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
Or Aghanim's tower.
At least this wasn't an Agassi.
Yeah.
It would have been really twist. that there was no possibility it was an Agassiz. It's where that lantern ended up being.
Yeah, that's true. It's that one thing that was...
No, it's that lantern.
What a location, right?
All the way into Turtle Rock, like one of the last possible locations it could be in there even. Then very shortly afterwards, that bow in the big chest. I didn't even mean to, like, I just wanted to grab the big chest real quick, then jump into the pit for a health refill through a dead warp, technically, before you were heading into Mimic Cave, and then I found the bow and I was like, okay, sure, come out.
Yeah, Turtle Rock was really stacked this time, and of course, it had to be a pendant dungeon, right?
Yeah, go figure.
Well, thanks again, dude, for giving us an awesome race tonight, and GG's on making it to the round 3. The first person to make it to round 3.
Thank you. I'm excited to see who my opponent will be.
Hopefully, for your sake, you can find some boots.
Yeah, I certainly hope so, because I don't want even more bootless seeds. Thank you. It's also horrid because like all the practice seeds I've been doing up to this point had really early boots, and then this.
Hey, at least you got a item 1 flute.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thankfully,
That made up a little bit for the boots, for the lack thereof. But yeah, I think that about covers everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it too. This was lots of fun to commentate tonight. I really have to thank you, Dark Shadows, to commentate with me again. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for doing commentary and tracking, and of course restreaming on this race. All the relevant people. That would be, let's see.
It was really fun to commentate, and thank you, Dynasty, for commentating with me again.
Yeah, thank you, Dynasty, Dark Shadows, Raspberry Floof, and of course Narystra for all the efforts in making this race available to the public.
Indeed, like we said a bit earlier, it's sometimes it does happen that we not always get a restreamer for these races. So when we get one at the last minute like that, and we suddenly get a stream we're not supposed to because somebody just picks up the race, that's always awesome. Thank you very much. And now I think we're going to get another race on this channel in just a few minutes. So get hype, everybody, as I think we're going to see, I believe, the game 2 of... is it on this channel or another channel? There's more races tonight on a few of the A Link to the Past Randomizer channels, and also on Speed Gaming. So if you want more Randomizer, just go around and find those races, because we have a lot more.
Yes, game 2 of